court throws your shit out, like throws out a conviction, it takes money to convict this shit. They might be like, all right, fuck it, at least you serve some time, whatever. They convened a grand jury for Harvey Weinstein mid-August, and they got a goddamn another indictment for his ass by the end of August. So again, that shows that they're determined to make sure, at least, and by the way, he has other convictions, but in New York, they want people to know we're not letting this fucking creep off the goddamn hook. And I'm wondering how they're going to treat Diddy related to that aspect.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to go hard on him. And the fact that it's federal is going to be even worse. And keep in mind, the whole Weinstein thing was only state.
Yep.
So
Facts. Yep.
that was them just aggressively pursuing him at the state level, right? So at the federal level, it's a rap, man. And like I said before, like going out whenever they go after famous people or people that have status or whatever it may be, they know that these individuals have the capability of paying for a good defense team. They have the resources, etc. So they're going to cross their T's and dot their I's a lot of the times, especially at the federal level. So, yeah, no, I mean, this situation with Diddy, and I mean, me and you predicted this a couple months back. I remember when we first spoke about this, when he first got raided back in like March or something. Like I literally predicted, last quarter of the year or early 2025, look for the indictment. They're gonna arrest him, and boom, here we are, right? Mid-September, and he's getting arrested sooner than I ever predicted. But yeah, man, it's just they're absolutely gonna make an example out of him in this situation. Anytime you got a celebrity or a rapper or something like that, Southern District of New York, they love these big, high-profile cases. I mean, keep in mind, this is the U.S. Attorney's Office that famously prosecuted La Cosa Nostra, right? When they were untouchable at the time. Rudy Giuliani famously, and was one of the first prosecutors to successfully use RICO. The Southern District of New York is what kind of pioneered that. So this is an office that has a lot of prestige, has a lot of image. HSI New York, from the agency standpoint, that's one of our busiest field offices, man. They're a very proud office. For a funny story, the agent that was in charge of HSI New York when 6ix9ine got arrested used to be the special agent in charge of Puerto Rico, which was the busiest field office in the country. So they're a very go-getter active office, HSI New York, and then you combine that with a very go-getter active United States Attorney's Office, which, like I told you before, some of the historical cases they've done, it's not looking good for Diddy, man. This is probably the worst U.S. Attorney's Office to take your case, and one of the worst agencies to be investigating you, for sure.
Okay, I might sound a little bit cynical, but what is the potential chance of maybe Diddy going in either with his lawyer or however it is and says, hey, listen, keep my kids out of it. Keep any woman I've dealt with out of it. Hey, listen, just put it all on me. Not saying he's admitting guilt, but he tries to protect other people, because I'm right now monitoring everyone's socials. I'm trying to see, is anyone going to comment on this? Are they in custody? We don't know. And I'm looking kind of at his sons a little bit too, right? Like, not necessarily do I think that they were with all the fuckery that he was in, but of recent times we hear the stories that he was sharing women with his kids. You know what I mean? Which is like, goddamn. You know what I mean? Like if you and your son got to smash the same girl, fuck it, right? But
yeah, that's definitely on some weirdo shit. I mean,
is it a possibility to say? It's like, imagine we're in a car, right? And I'm like the criminal of the bunch, and I'm like, nah, it's my guns. All 3 guns is my guns. Don't charge nobody. Do you think Diddy is the person to be like, yo, listen, whatever it is, put it on me. Leave my sons alone.
I mean, the thing is that he could do that, but like the feds are going to be the ones to decide what they do and don't do. Like, you don't have as much like wiggle room and leverage to kind of dictate these terms with them. Like, they're going to prosecute who they want to prosecute, right? So that's kind of what it is. I predict that, he's their main guy. So he's who they want to go after. He's going to have to give up someone incredibly famous and powerful for them to even give him any type of, give him a break on this case. Which, by the way, we're level 11 Hype Train, guys. Twitch.tv/Fresh Fit Podcast. Open up a tab while you're watching Academics if you don't mind.
Yeah, please. Go support my guys. If you don't know, man, my guys, Fresh and Fit, they're my boys. And, of course, support my man, Myron. A guy who's just super talented, multifaceted, not only when it comes to dating, obviously fitness, but he is a wizard when it comes to speaking about, I believe, politics and also anything that constitutes the law. So, wow,
Yeah, I
we've
used to
talked
listen
about
to
this a
preachers
bunch, bro.
for
We've
go,
talked
go
about
ahead.
this a bunch.
Go
Yo,
ahead.
this guy in Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Blackest Panther is trying to outdo me. I just get 90 subs on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
He give 100 subs. But you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna get 50 subs right now on stream. 150 subs on Twitch.
Oh shit. Oh
Wait,
shit.
wait,
Black Panther.
wait, hold on. Y'all having a sub battle?
Yes, bro. Bro, it's black for black. I'm black for black, black for black. He's black too. I'm black too. I'll black him, bro. Watch this.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, because now we're transitioning right now from YouTube live streaming to Twitch, so that's kind of what it is. But no, I mean, no, I used to breed this stuff, bro. Like I was an agent for 7 years, and I did all types of investigations. Like I truly used to love this shit. So, the reason why I know so much is because I would purposely work with other agencies. I was always fascinated to see how the DEA works versus the FBI, or how the FBI works differently than ATF. How FBI agents write their 302s versus DEA agents write their DEA 6s, right? So I was always very interested in how different agencies work and working with different agencies and kind of leveraging and using different agencies' strengths, right? I used to do something called OCDF cases, Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Forces cases, right? Where you would work with other agencies and you would get a special designated congressional number for your case, right, from the Department of Justice, and you would get more funding where you can, do a big case like this, which I don't anticipate that this is an OCDF case on this Diddy case, but I think the 6ix9ine case was an OCDF, and I think also the Casanova case was an OCDF. But yeah, man, so this stuff is something that I literally lived and breathed for a very long time. I had the #1 arrest in 2016 when I was on the southwest border, one of the busiest offices in Laredo, Texas. So when it comes to this stuff, man, I could talk all day. Any question that you got when it comes to how cases are done at a federal level, even at a state level, or prosecutors, all this other stuff, man, this is what I used to do, or how to exploit phones, Title IIIs, pen register, tracing traps, ping warrants, all this shit.
Yeah, no, this is so fascinating just based on, who I'm gonna be honest with you. I think in hip hop wise, we all believe that this is Mr. Untouchable. This is Mr. Untouchable, right? Let me ask you a question, and I'm really treading into the weeds right here. It's cool. You could be like, don't get into cynical land, because this is definitely cynical land. Some people would believe this. And again, I'm warning you, I'm warning your audience, I'm warning my audience. This is cynicism, just up front. So if we think about the election year of 2008, Diddy was probably the most important person. He started the vote or die movement.
Yeah.
Again,
Obama.
Yeah, of course. That replicated itself in 2012. 2016, he was important, but he didn't do too much, but still, obviously, that was when we saw Donald Trump take office in 2016, and then obviously the subsequent election, we saw then Joe Biden take office. This sounds crazy for me to say, because I'm a rational person most of the time. But do you think that maybe Diddy could have maybe leveraged this ongoing federal shit by maybe being either a little bit more involved, or maybe offering up his services to hey, listen, Biden, at least Biden at the time, I'm gonna go hard for the to get this black community to, put their vote down for the Democratic Party. And maybe not, I'm not saying it's going to indemnify him of his crimes, but maybe the timing would be a little bit different, right? Because that would be crazy, right? If the #1 black person that's we're going Biden, and subsequently Harris, if that person is fucking getting indicted, that looks crazy, right? Do you think that could potentially have changed anything? Or do you believe that maybe, the advisors for these people just knew down the pipeline, hey, Diddy's fucked, don't touch him, don't go near him? Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's been a little bit alarming. He just hasn't been in front of any of these movements? And we're talking
Yeah.
before the lawsuit.
No, that's a good question. I think the important thing here, so instead of, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm also going to give the audience something to kind of think about. So I want everybody to know, like, when it comes to the federal level, right? Every United States Attorney's Office, special agent in charge, etc., they want to be able to go to Congress at the end of the year and be like, yo, my agency did X, Y, Z. We arrested this many people. We took this much drugs off the street. We seized this much money from illicit activity, etc. They want to be able to go and lobby to get more money for the next fiscal year to continue to have their agency operate, right? And the only way they do that is by showing stats. Law enforcement is dictated by stats, right? And same thing with the United States Attorney's offices. How many cases did you take on? How many cases did you prosecute? How many cases did you get the guys to plead guilty, right? Very important. What's the conviction rate, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, knowing that everything is driven by stats and, and affluence and your ability to, arrest big targets and everything else like that, I think if anything, Diddy posturing himself from a political standpoint and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and align myself with Biden or whatever, I don't think it would have protected him that much. I think if anything, the more clout and fame you have and the higher up you are, it puts a bigger target on you for the feds to come after you. Because they want to be able to get those headlines and be like, yeah, we were the office that successfully indicted XYZ or did 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. Now, and I know people have their conspiracy theories and everything else like that, which I totally understand and respect, right? But what I will say is, ask yourself this question: does the government benefit and get clout from putting this guy behind bars and prosecuting him? If the answer is yes, more than likely they're going to actually go for it. That's why they went after Trump. That's why they went after Hunter Biden on the other side. That's why if you look at this assassin that they got that tried to kill Trump yesterday, I think the FBI is going to try to go after him and build a federal case. Right now he's being held in state custody, but I predict that they're going to try to build a federal case in the next 72 hours. And the reason why is because the FBI has a lot of egg on their face right now from the failed prosecutions of Trump, from the failed Matthew Crooks investigation from Butler, Pennsylvania, where they still can't find a motive or whatever. So they're going to try to make an example of this guy. And if it allows them to get more clout, more notoriety, and kind of repair the public distrust for the federal government right now, they're going to try to do it because it will benefit them and allow them to be able to get more funding in the future. So you always got to ask, what's the bottom line? What's their incentive to get this done? And if the answer is they get more clout, more fame, more notoriety, and they're able to obviously use that to lobby for more funding in the future, then they are probably going to do it. Now, does that mean that there aren't corrupt agents that don't do bullshit? Of course there are. Absolutely there are. That are politically motivated? Of course. But I think that agencies are always going to do what's in their best interest to get more money and to get more notoriety. And a lot of times that means taking down the biggest people that they can or unraveling the biggest conspiracies that they can.
Okay. I'm still having my tinfoil hat on, and it's fine if you're like, yo,
it's good to question it, man, because a lot of it is bullshit. I agree with you.
Now, I've heard this from so many people. Like, this is a point that I've heard so many times. They said, by the way, I think Reggie Wright even said this. They said Diddy is not a type of person that will tolerate being in a jail cell for the rest of his life. And they said if it ever came down to it, and I think you know where I'm going, he might seek certain type of alternative measures to, for lack of a better term, he ain't staying in that cell alive. Yeah. You tell me when you arrest, anyone, a suspect who's probably facing significant time, maybe the majority of their life if they're convicted, because we're still wondering how the fuck did that happen to Epstein? Like, I thought, like that shit was still crazy. It's still crazy to me.
Yeah.
Is it a situation where they're definitely making sure, hey, you're gonna be wherever he's at now, you're watched 24/7. We got to make sure everything's on the up and up.
I think for now, they won't have to cross that bridge because I do genuinely believe he's going to get bond. I'd be shocked if he didn't get it. I do genuinely think that they're going to give him bond, even if it's a house arrest. Just with the level of cooperation that his defense team has exhibited with working with the prosecution, I would be shocked if the AUSA kind of like double crossed the attorney and said, nah, fuck that, we're going to push for him to be held. Because the thing is like these attorneys, they know each other, man. A lot of the time they went to the same law schools. They've worked together maybe at an ADA's office or a private law firm, right? And then, they went on to did different things. So these attorneys all know each other. They're all part of the bar. So what I predict is there's probably maybe an agreement that was made. Look, bro, he's going to cooperate. He's not going to give you guys a hard time. We're going to let you guys know what's going on. The arrest will be simple and smooth. You will have no issues. We'll cooperate, but do me a solid. Let my guy get out on bond. Okay. AUSA says, look, all right, we'll play ball. We're not going to object to him being out on bond. That's fine. And that's really it. Because if the government doesn't object to him being out on bond, because the defense is going to say, Your Honor, I want my client to be out on bond. He's not a danger to community. He has children. He has a business. He has employees. Blah 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 blah. So they're going to kind of list out their case as to why he needs to be out. The government is not going to object to that. That's strong for the judge, because he's going to look at it like, okay, government, you're not objecting to him being released on bond? Nope, government doesn't have any objections. Cool. They're going to probably release him. That's what I predict is going to happen.
Hey, okay, so TMZ has a bunch of photos of Diddy literally walking around as early as 8 p.m. Eastern time. And he's walking around, he's taking pictures, he's posing with people, he's with his son.
Yeah.
Do you believe the feds were like, just keeping a close eye on him if they were going to arrest him pretty much like maybe an hour afterwards? Like, if he's taking a stroll in New York City, because it says just a couple hours before Diddy got busted, he was confidently strolling around New York City with his son, King Combs. He even stopped to greet some fans, take some selfies.
Yep.
What does the feds do then? They're like, yo, he's leaving the hotel. He's just walking around. What do you do?
No, I mean, he's a famous guy. They've probably observed this multiple times while doing surveillance on him, that he kind of just walks around and is living his life. I will say that I've noticed that since Diddy's kind of like had these looming charges on him, he's done a very good job of like maintaining public, how do I say this? Seeming pretty positive publicly.
Being outside. Yeah.
Being outside, being pretty positive, taking pictures with fans, not being like, negative or hateful or angry or, full of despair. I'm sure it probably weighs on him when he goes home, but I think he's done a good job of publicly seeming like he's fine and cheerful. So I think the agents are probably used to that at this point, that he's kind of been keeping up this thing, this facade going for the past few months while he was.
Because if I was his lawyer,
Yeah.
I would tell him to like look happy when you're outside, just so it looks good on the case. That's what I would say if I was his lawyer.
I'll tell you this though, he's probably going to have one of the deepest sleeps that he's had in months. Anytime that that you're going to get indicted with criminals, they knock out right away after they're arrested. It's interesting.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times it happens, because they're stressed for months knowing that they're going to get arrested by the Fed. So when they finally do get arrested that first night, they pass out, man. It's actually interesting. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they pass out in the car a lot of times while you're driving into jail.
Yo, I can't see. Yo, I gotta see Diddy in cuffs. I don't believe this shit is like, again, and it's not because I don't like I know I asked a couple cynical questions, but like Diddy just seems like above this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, like he's just,
it's crazy.
Like we've never seen a guy this powerful in hip hop. Think about all the most powerful guys in hip hop that we've seen arrested. Suge Knight. This is like Suge Knight got knocked out by a barber. Like he lost pretty much death row. Like he was not the same guy. Didn't have power, influence. Didn't even have respect at that point. No disrespect to him or his son. I know his son watching me from time to time. But Suge Knight was a former shell of himself. R. Kelly. Prestige was pretty much in the dirt. Like, he wasn't doing these big tours. We all know him for having a lot of talent. But we weren't seeing this guy. Like, we were seeing him like pop up. He was getting a lot of love in Chicago. Like he was doing like these shows. Like we would see like these older women like say, we don't give a fuck, we love him. But culturally was still shamed, and he was kind of almost ostracized. So by the time he did get arrested, there's no one like, oh my God, like, it's kind of like everyone's like, all right, good. I'm just trying to think of powerful people like chat. You guys could help me name, because we're only in shock, and I imagine this happened to the movie industry with Harvey Weinstein as well, right? Because nobody thought Harvey Weinstein could ever be, arrested, and then it happened. Who else?
No, I mean, it's it's always like, and this is what the feds like to do, man. They like to go after people that are untouchable, right? So I'm not surprised that Diddy was a target of this investigation. Obviously, they put a lot of money and resources in it because of who he is and how big he is and how untouchable he is. The one thing I will say though that's kind of surprised me is I have not seen anyone come out to Diddy's defense and say he's innocent or say that they support him or anything. I haven't seen anyone publicly do that, which is very strange.
Well, academics, question for your brother. We know the music industry is very political, right? And in the industry, I'm sure Diddy has info on people, like some dirt on them. I guarantee you, like he has maybe like video of them doing some stuff behind the scenes, or maybe like hear some rumors about people. So he has a lot of things he could expose about people in the industry, right? You think he's gonna say that now that he's being locked up? What do you think?
You know, that is a good question. Here's the thing. If you have a video of motherfucking, like, no disrespect to him, like YK Osiris sucking your cock, nobody gives a fuck. Like, whether it's true or not, right? It's just based on who we're talking about, right? Like, you're Diddy, that's YK Osiris. And again, I'm not throwing him under the bus. I don't think he's gay at all, but still, like, okay, think about Trey Songz. Okay, we don't give a fuck. So the only person he could have something on that we would give a fuck, and I guess, you know, I was gonna ask Myron this too, is like, there's this Jay-Z element that everyone has been skating around, right? And it's very interesting, right? Because we just seen Foxy Brown commented about this. You know, she put like the startled eyed emojis. Then she says, shit about to get really crazy. Now, she's more synonymous with, you know, her time or her, her association with Jay, you know, as, you know, maybe you could say Lil' Kim is more associated with her, you know, Tom or association with Diddy. And when you hear Foxy say this, you start to kind of like think like, what was up? Now, obviously, you know, I don't want to get into some of the weeds here, and I know I've done it before, but they do say things about Jay-Z, except I do think Jay-Z is just way more shrewd. I've heard this from a few people in the game, and, you know, it kind of goes to Myron's point about continued, you know, behavior. They said, hey, nobody's saying Jay-Z was as wild a boy as Diddy, but they said, for any fuck shit that Jay-Z ever did, he cleaned his act up over 10 years ago. So he just ain't been the same person. And when you're not doing those actions continually, you know, it kind of probably doesn't stoke the same fire under investigators to come get you, when literally they would only be investigating stuff that's, you know, the more we go in time, you get further from that behavior. It's not like, yo, Diddy was still throwing parties last year. Like, literally. Diddy was throwing parties last year. Like, he didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, people were telling, yo, Diddy went to the Breakfast Club. They literally said, Diddy, you're 50-something. When you gonna slow down? And he said, age ain't nothing but a number. I feel young. He said he was basically giving niggas reasons why he still felt he could have all these crazy freak-offs. You know,
yo, bro,
it appears that Jay may have retired from any fuckery if he did do it.
he was performing in a club Live in Miami, right, bro? Mm-hmm. Guess what happened? After the club, there's an after party. Guess where it's at? This was like a couple months ago. Diddy's house. They think you still living the same lifestyle. So it was like, I get what you're saying, 100%. So.
Oh, boy, man. Sad shit, man. Sad shit. No, now, I'm going to be honest with you. I expect Jay-Z to go in hiding. And when I mean hiding, not actual hiding. I do think, you know, with recently, we're talking about the Super Bowl, Wayne, Drake, Kendrick. I think that Jay-Z is going to, again, just be absent of comment and conversation. So he's not hiding literally, but he knows when the block is hot and he knows when to fucking switch it up. And I think the block is hot now because after Diddy, there ain't no other bigger wig to get than him. And it's time for him to go. Again, by the way, I want to give Jay-Z credit. I'm not saying Jay-Z was guilty of anything, but Jay-Z definitely knew the right time to stop doing Made in America, Rock Nation brunches, all the fuck shit that y'all used to associate him with. He stopped. Well, not saying those were fuck shit, but just like all those public things. He knew when to scale it back and lay low. Diddy just never knew when to lay low.
Yeah, I mean, he's been womanizing for a long ass time, man. And the thing also with Diddy that people don't know is like he's had serious problems with like drugs and alcohol. And obviously that clouds your judgment. You do stupid ass shit. And now he's kind of dealing with the consequences of it, man. I mean, the dude's been on top and owning shit since the 90s, 30 years plus.
Hey, by the way,
if you live in Miami, you heard stories about his parties for days, bro. Everyone knows the lifestyle here in Miami, and he's been living it, bro. It's just part of the culture.
And by the way, I interviewed Hitmaker. Shout out to my man Hitmaker. And he said something very interesting, not only about Diddy, but he said about Drake. He says Drake needs to learn from Diddy and Jay because Drake is like 38 now. And when Kendrick says watch the party, you got to stop the party after a while. Like if you don't stop the party and keep it till 50, you see where Diddy's at. At some point, we ain't saying get married and have kids, but just exit stage left. I'm gonna catch you niggas later. Okay, I'm gonna catch all y'all niggas later. Obviously, I don't think, and I hope Drake don't have any type of issues compared to these other people we're talking about. But what do you think about maybe some of the behavior and obviously for fresh nose and sees when it comes to like. If you've been around these celebrity rappers or people who have money and a lot of power, it kind of rolls into these sexual escapades and these wild parties and these other things. Is that a valid thing where it's like, yo, you gotta check out of that system or that game, or else you might get fucked?
I'll say this: I've been to quite a few parties. Drake's parties are always fun, and the girls speak positive about Drake all the time. They like Drake is respectful, he's nice, he makes sure everything's paid for, open bar.
Yo, I'm not really saying this for Drake because here's the thing: I'm pretty sure the bitches and I'm saying bitches respectfully if there's such a thing. The bitches at Diddy party in the 90s were speaking respectfully till it got disrespectful. You feel me? Like again. We have to realize the time we're in, right? I'm pretty sure the people who are suing him in the 90s, maybe in the 90s, they were like, oh, no, this is normal. Then later.
But, to your point, you open yourself up to like cases because I'm not going to lie. People's opinions can change. They might need some money. They might say, you know what, fuck this guy. I don't like him more. So you're right. This can change over time. So yeah, you're right. Hosting these parties could open you up to like,
not only that, you're like drunk and fucked up. Like when Diddy was beating Cassie in that video, like he was drunk at the time.
You think it was all that Ciroc?
Yeah, he was drunk as hell. Like when he attacked her at the hotel, and then we all saw that footage.
That's fucked up, bro.
He was drunk as hell. But you do crazy shit like that when you're drunk and high, man. Like, yo, bro, this is why I thank God that I don't drink or do drugs, bro.
Yeah.
Real talk, man. That shit will set you up for failure, man.
Yo, keep it a bean.
Yeah.
If Drake held a party and invited you, will you pull up? Don't cap, bro.
No. Of course I would. Yeah, no, I would. No,
we're
going
right.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think my commentary about the Drake thing is this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be a little bit nuanced. I know my audience is gonna hate me for saying this because they want me just to be like, yo, monsters are monsters. What I think is that hip hop culture glorifies and allows certain shit that is sometimes super gray area. And the more you indulge in some of those things that you might think again, I'm not trying to jump on no fucking sword for this guy Diddy, but like, I don't know if Diddy thought what he was doing was like super evil, or he thought that, oh, that's what we do. I'm just kind of a little bit extreme.
A lot of this stuff was consensual with these bitches. I have no doubt that a lot of it was.
Yo, you know what I realized with some people that are high status? It's almost like they get bored of regular fun and excitement, and that was up the ante. So, for example, in his case, I don't know if it was in malintent or not, but for him, it's like, yo, fuck this shit. I'm done doing the reg. I want to get bitches and have fun and do drugs. Dude, it's almost like if like you have to up the ante each time, and it's like it doesn't end until it's too late.
My personal thought is this: I don't think Diddy probably cognizantly realized that what he did over the years were super evil until maybe a year or two ago, when he realized that. And he probably got people hitting him up saying, hey, yo, remember what you did back then? Like, yo, that shit was fucked up. I'm about to sue you. And that's when he started being brother love. I think that's when he realized. I think all he thought he was a crazy party animal that was doing what everybody else was doing, right? Yo, I'm having these wild parties, like, you know, and by the way, it's also him thinking, again, I could be wrong. This is me, like, projecting what I think he might be, you know, going through or thinking. I think he thought, you know, him pushing the boundary a little bit more every time was normal, right? So it's like, all right, tonight we have a party. Everybody's fucked up. All right, shit. People go on their own accord and they do whatever. Now I'm like, all right, well, what if I have rooms for y'all to go do it in? Then he's like, shit, what about if, all right, man, how about if I just bring over the bitch? I'm going to bring over some prostitutes. Oh, shit. All right, bet. Matter of fact, and like keep pushing it to the point where, like, obviously now when we look at it, this shit's just clearly disgusting and just out of bounds. But from when I hear the story of Diddy, a guy who was, you know, like he was basically this young guy getting into the industry who got fired, then got another opportunity, and then made his way. I don't think he was. Actually, let me stop, because I watched one document. They say he was beating bitches from college. Yeah, my bad. Never mind, Chad. I was trying because I know how people could sometimes start pushing the limit. And by the time you've done it over 20 years, you've just pushed the limit a lot. I don't know about the sex stuff, but because I've just always heard Diddy's gay. I'm gonna just keep it a P with you. That's the only thing. Like the moment I knew I was in quote unquote the music industry is when people told me, hey, you can never repeat this, but we all think Diddy's gay. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean we all think that Diddy's gay? They was just like, yeah, he's gay. Like, yo, he tried to fuck him. I'm like, no, he didn't. They're like, don't ever say this, but we all think so. So that's when I realized I was in the industry, quote unquote. But
Yo, we gotta ask Freak Mill. You tell us the truth, right? You tell us the truth.
Yo, but in reality, that's the point. Is like, bro, I think one thing we can say, Diddy has been always abusive, right? Because, you know, they got stories of Diddy just beating a chick. They said Diddy beat up a bitch like in front of the whole school in college. This is before he had money, before anything. I think his sexual deviancy, you know, this is probably the wrong venue to speak about this, but it goes into when you have an insatiable appetite for sex, right? You know, I think for the normal man, okay, cool, you would love to have multiple women or different women. Then it might get to a point you're like, well, maybe I can have different women at the same time. I want to have threesomes. Maybe you want to do an orgy. Diddy got to another level where he said, fuck my dick even working. I want to see another man dick fucking my chick. He got too far, brother. That's all I can say.
Yo.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it always happens where, you know, when is, you know, how much is enough? And like, the more you're involved in it, the more you do it, the easier it is to get bored. The easier it is to get bored, the more stimuli you need to get to that same level. It's like a drug, man. So, yeah, sexual deviancy always progresses. It doesn't stay stagnant. It gets worse and worse and worse because you need more and more to get, you know, off. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start getting into this weirdo stuff from like just doing whatever. And here's the thing: you're a celebrity, A-list. You got some of the hottest chicks that you've in the world. You had J-Lo at one point. You know, have some of these bad chicks. You know, you could get any woman that you want. I guess you would look at it like, it's a game. Let me see if I can get a dude now. I don't fucking know. Like, you know, people, the sexual degeneracy never stops evolving. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yo, Act, if he did the crime, man, lock him up though, bro. For real, dog. Real talk, lock him up, bro. That's some weirdo shit.
Well,
just saying.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's if he did the crime. I think it's very clear that he potentially committed some crimes, right? Like, we see him on video giving a woman the beats, right? Now, the punishment for that, and you know, not saying whether rightly or wrongly, the punishment for that wouldn't be spending the rest of his life in jail, I think. But the punishment for sex trafficking, if that's what the crime is, which I think that's where we're trying to either process that, Because even like Myron said, Myron is like, yo, I think some of these girls were down with it. Okay, well, that becomes multifaceted. Are they down with it, or did he coerce them with money, lifestyle? Did he coerce them with, hey, this is, like I think one woman who filed a lawsuit said he controlled our financial future, so we had to do this shit. Or were they down with it? Like, yo, salute to my boy Vlad. But Vlad said he interviewed a few people who knew Cassie, and they said, yo, and again, these feel like wrong conversations to have because, especially us even discussing this, like, we're not bad people. Like, we're not trying to like be on the wrong side of history. But like Vlad said that he spoke to some people who said, hey, with all due respect, Cassie loved that shit. Like, like she was into it. Now, granted, did he beat her ass? Did he do all type of stuff to her? Yes. But they were saying that was one of her kinks. And I think when we try to look at it with an independent, vision, that's the most egregious part of it. Yo, you're doing these freak offs, forcing these innocent women into some shit that they never wanted to do, that they were not having fun, like you did it without their will. And then when you hear other things like, nah, some of them was into that shit, you're like, it makes us almost sit back that we got to just like, all right, let's look at the evidence that the police is going to have. And obviously, we're going to do that tomorrow morning, at least to some extent, but you don't really know what to think, right?
It'll be interesting if Cassie ends up being a witness in this investigation from the criminal perspective, which I know for a fact she more than likely at least led investigators to other witnesses, but because she was with him for so long. So she was probably a key cooperator in this criminal investigation where, she might have led the feds to other individuals that Diddy might have sexually abused during the course of their relationship. So it'd be interesting to see if her involvement in the criminal case and how deeply she was involved. Maybe she might have pointed other people. She might have, be someone that's going to testify herself. We'll see, obviously, when the indictment is rolled out tomorrow. But we'll know for sure once Diddy gets his discovery and he reads those ROIs, how deep it goes.
All right.
Yeah.
I just wonder, for all of the people that went to Diddy's parties, right, that aren't talking right now, I can think of one person that we all know, Kevin Hart. You think he's like sweating right now? Like he's like worried? Or some of these people, other people that went to his parties, or not really?
Nah. I do believe that the level of craziness he got to, he kept that to a certain amount of people. I do believe that some silence or some lack of comment is always indicative of maybe a particular culture or lifestyle that maybe, again, we're in 2024 and there's a few lawsuits that he has that are in the 90s. Like I always said that, again, never defending these people, but just speaking, just honestly how shit looks like, even say like Bill Cosby. Yo, do you think that Bill Cosby was the only nigga putting Quaaludes in women's drinks or Spanish, whatever the fuck he said he was doing? You think that wasn't a culture? You think he's the only one? Like, they got him and they be like, all right, well, we got everybody from, what was it, the 70s? All right, we got everybody who did this. I think there's a culture that was existing that maybe he was one of the more famous people who went crazy with it. But there are definitely people who skated by who probably just shut the fuck up, laid low, or moved to Bali. So, again, I think a lot of people who are staying quiet on the Diddy stuff were probably like, yo, that's how we used to always party. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like, if you've watched BET Uncut, some of the Freaknik shit, like, as we talk about consent, none of that shit sounds like consent. Niggas is swiping credit card through bitches' ass crack. You know what I mean? They got 5 niggas palming the ass cheek of scantily clad or dressed women walking down the street. Like, again, it becomes a very dicey situation. I mean, none of this absolves Diddy, but all I'm saying is that I think, people are going to go down by saying, nah, Diddy was the only one. I don't think so, man. I think a lot of them will he ain't the only freaky ass nigga from the motherfucking 90s.
Well, maybe we'll find out soon, but he's the biggest catch right now, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, nigga. It's 2 a.m. here in Miami.
Well, Any other things you got for me or anything like that, bro? I'd be happy to answer any last few because we got to stream tomorrow too. We're gonna probably try to do like a little subathon.
Okay.
And then,
hey,
yo, are you going to TwitchCon?
I don't know, but I definitely know that in the morning I will be on for whenever this indictment will be on sealed. That's a fact. So
Okay.
So either you know me, first of all, like I'll just be on. So it's either I'm not getting off a stream tonight, or when I get off stream tonight, I'm gonna try to use every resource possible to figure out when this thing will be presented in court, because that indictment is
Southern District of New York. Do this, bro. Just go on Southern District of New York right now, the website, and then look for initial appearances, and it should tell you when they have initial appearance typically.
Okay.
Yeah, go on there. Maybe that'll help you, save you some time, so that way you can get some rest and then wake up when they have the initial appearance. I mean, bro, if I were you, I would see when it is, and bro, you should just go to the court and be like right there. It's open court. Like you literally just go to the courtroom and you can sit there and see the initial appearance. It's not gonna be long. It's gonna be like 20 minutes at most. But
he ain't leaving the house.
No, I would for this. Now this is the joint. This is the joint.
Go to court. You're right there. You're not that far from the city.
The only thing about, and I think you know this, you just can't film in federal court. I've never seen federal court.
Yeah, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. They'll get pissed off at you if you try to do that. But you could be there and like take notes and shit like that, and you'll be fine.
What do you think? An initial appearance, he's like the only person showing up, or they're gonna have like a lineup of defendants?
They'll have other people, but it's the middle of the week, so and I don't predict that there's gonna be many other defendants that will be there for their initial appearance. So it'll probably be just him and maybe a couple other. But yeah, I mean, it's not that busy.
Damn.
I remember when I was in Laredo, Texas, we'd have 100 motherfuckers in the courtroom sometimes that got arrested the day before.
Really?
Bro, I'd be at an initial appearance for hours, bro. That's how busy we were on the southwest border. People getting arrested federally. Crazy shit, man.
Yo, this is like so unexpected. Like, I think we were all waiting for this, but like the timing, usually we hear about also indictments, like, you know, announcements of indictments. Like, it usually comes to a press release December 3rd. And it comes in early in the day. We would be able to, you know, the media is going to dissect it. This one came like, this is after like 8 p.m.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why, like, for me, I looked at when I found out that they arrested him at night like that. That tells me like they had eyes on him. They had the arrest warrant in hand. That they just made the executive decision to pick him right there.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
wow. All right. Listen, if you guys are available tomorrow, you know, I'm gonna definitely be live.
We're gonna stream tomorrow night, probably around 7 p.m. Are you gonna be on?
Trust
we
and
could
believe.
talk more about this
Yeah,
case.
trust and believe I'll be on it at that time. Okay.
All right.
So
yeah.
Then hold up. TwitchCon, nigga. TwitchCon.
When's TwitchCon? I don't even know when it is.
It's
Thursday
Thursday
to Sunday.
Yeah, Friday to
in
Sunday.
San Diego.